Hey friends, got a great topic for you today. School's out for the summer and I've been wanting to share this with you for a while. I didn't know that this product had evolved so well in recent years. The topic I've got for you today is MagSafe Accessories. It's not a specific product that I wanted to show you as much as a class of products. I recently upgraded to the iPhone 15 and I've been using wireless charging for a while. iPhone 8 started the wireless charging. And I've been buying accessories. I've actually got a few listed. For example, by our bedside, we put these wireless chargers so that when you're tired, you're not having to fumble around trying to connect a cord. And these products just drop in. And horizontally is nice because it actually goes to clock mode. If the charger was plugged up, you would actually see it would go and shows you when the next alarm is. So a very nice accessory to have by your bedside. But it doesn't necessarily snap in on this particular product, but I do have another one where it actually grabs in and makes it a little bit easier to attach it to the MagSafe. So that's what I want to talk about today is these MagSafes. So one of the reasons why this product caught me off guard is because I was stuck to OtterBox. Now, OtterBox has been my favorite go-to case, and I've bought the case before I even bought the phone. This happens to be an OtterBox case that has been adapted with the MagSafe ring. I put E6000 on there, so it looks a little sloppy, but actually it's pretty effective. And so I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this in just a minute. But this is my iPhone 13, and when I went to go looking for a new case for the iPhone 15, I could not find a MagSafe again. At this particular point, iPhone 13, I don't think that I really was worried about it at all. I just immediately went out there and bought the same thing that I had been purchasing. And here's the thing with OtterBox, sometimes it passes the wireless charging and sometimes it doesn't. For example, this is one of the MagSafe products that I got really excited about. I found this back in December and I wanted to share this with you today. But when I put it up against this jerry-rigged ring that I E6000 onto the back of it, it actually wakes the phone up and goes to start charging. So I must have done a pretty good job. Now to see what I have done on this right here, to do this, I made the OtterBox into wireless MagSafe compatible charging. The first thing I did was I scratched up the back of the OtterBox, cleaned it up real good with alcohol, and then I stuck a ring onto it. So the phone itself has the capability to do the charging and has the MagSafe. And then I gave it a metal ring to attach to, and then I put another one on the outside of the skin, and I was really surprised it would work for the wireless charging. I really only wanted it for the ability to put one of these rings on that I'm about to show you right here. So I must have gotten the rings into pretty good alignment. When I first put the adhesive, the back of this ring right here onto the back of the phone, the adhesive did stick for a little while, but the alignment must have been off just a tiny bit because I don't think it charged. Now that does vary. So I've got another charging sled right here, two of them. That's just different takes. This one laid down. I didn't really actually like this one because it actually has two different wireless coils right here, but you had to line it up perfectly. And if it wasn't perfect, the charging wouldn't work. But the problem with wireless charging is sometimes it makes a connection, sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't make a real good connection, it can actually heat up as it's trying to give it enough current. So on this particular sled, the wireless coil is right here in the middle, and so it was a little more difficult to get it lined up both vertically and horizontally. So this product was just genius when I found it. Not only does it connect into the wireless charging, but it also provides its own stand. I can walk around with it. I can clip it into the OtterBox case. And if you haven't seen one of my other YouTube channel videos where I talk about the importance of the OtterBox series, is I really like the protection of this particular style. It also locks in on my belt clip, and that's the best way to make sure that the phone isn't getting dropped, locked in on the side of my hip. But I've talked about that in other videos, so this does show, though, that basically I was able to adapt this particular case right here. When I went to go get the iPhone 15, I went again looking for cases, and y'all know what a struggle that can be. I wanted to get something that had wireless charging, but also MagSafe. Now, at that time, back in November, I did not understand the significance of the MagSafe. All of a sudden, I just was introduced to this world of MagSafe adapters. One of the first things I found was this particular case. It wasn't expensive. I'll put a link down the bottom. I'm actually very pleased with the company support. Here's what the case looked like. Very similar to OtterBox in the style of its belt clip. It's a little more slender than I like. It's a little smooth, a little too slick. It does have a little bit of a grip to it, and this isn't a review of the case. I'm just trying to illustrate for you why I still continue to look for yet another case. But one of the things you see is that it has this magnetic ring right here. Now, my first magnetic ring that I picked up was a LoveHate right off the bat. And you'll notice here that it has this little metal flip out ring, but it was never in the right place. It's a little hard to dig out right here. So once you get it open, it was kind of neat as a little fidget spinner, but you could prop it up horizontally. Sorry, you can only see this on the overhead camera right there. But hands off, you've got a horizontal display right there to be able to watch. But this particular ring would not support vertical. It just falls over no matter where you put this ring. Well, that led me to find yet another adapter ring. So that brings me to the second, and I'm not making a product recommendation here. Normally I like to tell you about one thing that I really like, but it's actually the class of things. All these are under $20. This first one I think was like dollars. The second one is actually my go-to ring right now. This one was actually, I think, $11 on sale, but I'm going to tell you about this one. I had a couple of challenges with. I'm still waiting to hear back from the company on it. But this first one, like I said, it was love-hate. I liked it, but also disliked it in a lot of ways, and I was constantly taking it off. That brings me back to this one. This was my first one that I purchased that I didn't get it returned back in 30 days. Wasn't that big a deal, wasn't that expensive, but I knew that there had to be a better one out there, and I was so interested in this topic, I knew that I wanted to also look at some other ones. So I'm not trying to recommend specifically any one of these in particular, but I am going to try to show you some things that I do like about each one of these. This is the one I use on a daily basis at this point. There was one or two things I didn't like about it that kept me searching for yet one more. And after going through a couple more, I've just decided that this one actually is pretty good. So I will put a link down at the bottom if you're interested. It's from a company spelled, if I pronounce it correctly, Doflyesky, Doflyesky. And it's machined pretty well. It's pretty smooth. You can see how easily it snaps onto the back right there. A very good grip, but most importantly, it serves for photography and video purposes. And I know that a lot of the world is shooting vertical videos, and in fact, YouTube and Facebook and TikTok, they're forcing you into vertical unless you override the settings. But until we put TVs horizontally on the wall, I'm still shooting horizontally. And I just wish that for so many years I had to try to train students to shoot verticals, and now I'm trying to train students to shoot horizontally. But anyway, being able to put a support underneath it with a little bit of an extra assist allows for some very smooth video and also for photography purposes. In fact, I've actually been out there hiking around and didn't have any tripods and literally just hooked this over the top of an item. But because of the articulating arm right here, it actually supports past vertical or straight up and down for sure because of the way that can hook over. And hopefully you can see that on the overhead cam right there. But it definitely does it also in the vertical orientation. So because it'll go past vertical, you can see that it's actually a little bit lower down. You can actually kick it back just a little bit. And definitely straight up and down is well supported. You can put a little bit of weight on that right there, you can see. So this has actually been a really nice ring, and I've been very pleased with it. But I did go ahead and look for yet another accessory, and that brought me to another product. Again, the idea between the first one was it only had the one interior ring, easily adjusted, but this ring actually flips down and articulates so that it has 3 rings, the mounting ring and 2 additional rings. And of course, they're all interchangeable. This one usually it lives on the iPhone 13. I don't like it as much. It's a little rough around the edges right here, so I actually wouldn't recommend this one. But I mean, it's just there's so many out there. I'll probably try another one at some point, and they're not going to last forever. This one's now, I guess, 5 months old, and it's got a little bit of play in the hinge right there. So I'll probably look through again. But so far, it's been holding up well. And I use it every single day. When I get into the car, I do have to take it off to drop the phone into its magnetic mount. So I have something like this in the car, and it locks on, which actually brings me to yet another product I found. This was a cell phone adapter right here to go to your tripod. And it came with a sled that you can actually stick anywhere if you want with some 3M tape, but it actually just makes a wide enough base that the phone sticks up on its own. But it also has a 1/4 inch tripod socket. down on the base of this right here. And again, I'll show you this down there in the product. It may not even be available anymore. It's made of plastic, and I'm not really 100% excited about it being plastic, but I tell you what, it's lightweight though, and pretty nice for an accessory. So anyway, the last thing I'll just share with you on this fourth one right here, I'm still waiting to hear back from a company. This one did break. I bought 3 of them, a couple of them as gifts. This one my wife used, and the screws came out. They're stripped out right there. And even though I tried to use a little jeweler screwdriver, I peeled this adhesive back. And this adhesive, you do have to be a little bit cautious about if you drop these rings onto the ground because you're taking them off, putting on another accessory. Because they are magnetic, they do pick up all kinds of different particles on the ground. And all of a sudden, you've got metal right here. Anything that gets in between here and the back of your phone, it'll scratch. This is a Mylar pad right there. And if there's something dirty, I mean, look at that. That's a pretty good pull right there. But the only other thing that you got to be careful with, I feel like it hasn't happened to me yet. Apple recently introduced that when I put 2 phones together, that they want to share contact information, which is annoying. So sometimes I have this tendency to want to do this, but that would be glass against metal, and that would not end well. So anyway, I hope that covers everything. If you've watched any of my other videos, why do I go through all this? Because cameras like this are just, they're too heavy, they're too hard to carry around. This is from 2008. I still believe DSLRs have their place for shooting events. I tried to shoot an event with a mirrorless camera last night. I know they've gotten a lot better in recent years, but man, it's just not a DSLR. But there's so much that you can do with your cell phones. The most important thing, if you've watched any other videos on my channel, is you got to get the camera stable, because the cell phone is adjusting the ISO automatically based on whether it detects motion. So if you're hand holding it and you're shaking and then the phone is moving back and forth, it's not going to be as good a video when you actually zoom in. Now, if you're just looking at it on a little tiny screen and it's going on to TikTok and everybody's going to be flipping by it, it's not that big a deal. But if you're really looking for high quality pictures and high quality video, you've got to get stable. And this is probably one of the best products I've seen come along. I was so excited when I started to discover it and I started to plan to do this video. So that's pretty much it. I hope this helps, and let me know if you do have any questions. I'll reply back just as soon as possible. If you have any comments or any tips of your own, definitely put them down in the comment, and please follow and share with anybody that you might think benefit from this. I couldn't wait to share it with you all, and we'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a good one.